Hi, it's me. In today's video, we explore the mystery of the Maya. In 2018, archaeologists in Guatemala made a truly spectacular discovery inside one of the tombs of the ancient Maya city of El Pila. The tomb belonged to a very important Maya ruler, but his remains were not there. Someone had robbed the grave long ago, taking with them the bones of the great king, but they'd overlooked something very small. In the folds of a blanket, almost completely hidden, was a tiny jade headdress. It weighed just over 6 pounds and was decorated with 14 human faces carved in low relief. But who did these faces represent? That's what scientists are trying to find out. They believe each one might be a former ruler of the Maya, including the man whose tomb this treasure was found in. But how could this have ended up here? To find out, researchers are doing everything from X-raying the artifact to scanning it with lasers. And we should know soon who the figures are supposed to represent and what the significance of this find really is. The monument at Uxmal. The Maya built many impressive monuments. They made huge pyramids and left behind amazing works of art. But nothing is more imposing than the pyramid known as the Magician at Uxmal. It's around 100 feet tall and has 9 terraces, each containing 91 steps. That makes the structure a kind of staircase to the heavens. It was built sometime around the year 1200 AD, but unlike most Maya buildings, it wasn't used for religious purposes. Instead, it may have been a teaching center where Maya priests instructed students in the intricacies of their religion. But who was the teacher? This is another mystery. Some say the monument represents a real person. But if so, who he was and why he was deified is unknown. Others say the monument isn't a portrait at all, but rather a symbol of the sacred world tree that the Maya believed connected Earth and the heavens. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. The Great Maya Collapse. The Maya civilization mysteriously collapsed between 800 and 900 AD. This happened despite the fact that the Maya lived in an environmentally rich region of Mesoamerica. Their territory stretched across parts of modern-day Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. There was plenty of fertile land for growing crops, and the rivers provided abundant fish. Yet somewhere between 250 AD, when the classical period began, and 900 AD, when the collapse occurred, things went horribly wrong. Around this time, big cities were abandoned, writing basically stopped, and Maya society became much more fragmented. Scientists have blamed droughts, overuse of natural resources, warfare, or a combination of all three for the Maya's decline, but no one knows for sure what caused such a sophisticated civilization to fall apart so quickly. Limestone colossal heads. Between 2000 BC and 1000 AD, the Maya created more than 50 limestone colossal heads in the southern part of their empire. These giant stone heads range from 5 to 13 feet tall and weigh up to 60 tons. Each one is different, and scientists aren't sure exactly what they all represent. Some might be portraits of former rulers with elaborate headdresses showing their status. Others may show ancestors or gods. But why were these statues always placed deep in the jungle, away from any temples or palaces? A new theory says the heads acted as territorial markers. The Maya rulers positioned them far from the centers of their cities to show that they controlled the surrounding jungle. These would have been impressive sights to behold during the Maya's classic age, when dozens of these enormous heads dotted the landscape. The Popol Vuh. In 1701, a Spanish bishop recorded the first known version of the Popol Vuh. It's a mythological text written in the early post-classic period by the Quiche Maya people. The book contains a lot of information about the history and culture of the Maya, and the stories it tells differ a lot from the Old Testament. One story, for example, says that the sun and moon were brother and sister. When they got married, the gods created the world, then decided humans needed to be created too. So they mixed maize, the sacred plant, with the blood of a young man and a young woman and formed the first couple. Other tales speak of great floods and battles between the gods and monsters. The Popol Vuh is a truly remarkable work, but scientists don't agree on its importance. Some claim the text is entirely mythological, while others say it reflects real historical events. Which do you think? The script? When the Maya civilization collapsed around 900 AD, they took their secret script with them. We know now that the Maya kept written records on a variety of topics, including their history, rituals, and even sports scores. They wrote using glyphs or pictures that represented either a sound or an entire word. While most of their writings were found on stone monuments or carved into buildings, they also wrote on paper made from the bark of fig trees. Unfortunately, because paper decays so quickly in the hot, humid climate of Central America, few examples remain today. That means it's very hard to decipher the meaning of the script. Only about 1% of the Maya glyphs have been translated. Most of the writing remains a mystery, which is frustrating considering that the Maya had a surprisingly complex language. There were different ways of writing numbers. For example, and Maya scribes knew how to write their entire alphabet. Maybe someday we'll crack the code and discover more secrets of the Maya. The burial of the Jaguar woman. In 1938, archaeologists discovered the tomb of a very important Maya queen. She was given the title Jaguar woman, which probably referred to her status as a member of the elite ruling class. Her skeleton was found lying on a stone altar beneath a temple at the site of El. She was buried along with hundreds of priceless treasures, including jewelry made from jade and obsidian. It was clear she died around the year 1000 AD, and she wasn't the only one. Excavations revealed 6 other graves near hers, along with evidence that a large ceremonial center had once stood nearby. Archaeologists believe the royal burial ground was moved to this location after the Great Maya collapse. The center never got very big and was abandoned in the 13th century, but it was used continuously for nearly 300 years as a place to bury important dead. Tikal was once the capital of a Maya kingdom, but today it's one of the largest archaeological sites in Central America. Its 6 major structures are visible from space, and the 2 tallest pyramids are nearly 200 feet high. Tikal was founded around 500 BC, but the city really started growing in the 3rd century AD, when a powerful king named Yucnum took rise to power. He transformed Tikal from a small regional city to a metropolis. He built new temples, recruited new allies, and expanded the borders of his kingdom. Unfortunately, he met a bad end. He was murdered in 378 AD, but his son, Hassam, avenged his death and continued expanding Tikal's power. Under his rule, the city became a hub of trade, connecting the Maya interior to the coastal regions. King Pakal the Great ruled the Maya city of Palenque between 615 and 683 AD. During his reign, the city reached the height of its power and influence. Pakal built 7 major structures, including 5 temples. He also kept detailed records of his accomplishments, but not on stone or paper. Instead, he used a codex, a type of manuscript made from animal skins. Unfortunately, like the paper made from fig bark, animal skins don't preserve well in the tropical climate of the Yucatan. Only 3 Maya codices survived, and Pakal's is one of them. It's called the Madrid, Brussels, and Paris Codex. It shows scenes from Pakal's life, including his coronation ceremony. It also shows astronomical charts and lists of historical dates. But many parts of the codex are still a mystery. Scholars don't understand much of the writing, and some pages are missing entirely. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, Be sure to subscribe and join us next time for more stories of incredible discoveries. See you later. Bye.